All right, so in this example, we're going to be continuing our train of thought with rationalizing and simplifying radical expressions where we have a radical in the denominator. So here we're looking at 3 over the square root of 24. And we're going to use the exact same trick to simplify this thing, or to rationalize, and then we will simplify using techniques we've developed earlier on in simplification of radical expressions. That is, using factor trees. So how do we go about doing this? It's going to be 3 over square root of 24. And we're going to cleverly multiply top and bottom by the same denominator that we see here. So multiplying top and bottom by root 24, because doing so gives us 1. All right. So combining this, I get 3 root 24 on the top, just how fractions work. And now I have square root of 24 in the denominator squared. All right, so I have a square root and a square of a number, so that gives us just 24 in the denominator. So we have 3 times root 24 over 24. That's really helpful because 3 divides 24. How many times? 8. So this leaves us with square root of 24 over 8. Right, so far so good. Now I have a radical of 24. Odds are I can break down this 24 into groups of factors of 2, or powers of 2. So let's look at 24, break that down. So we have 12 times 2, we have 2 times 6, and then 6 is 2 times 3. So I'm looking at a square root here, so I want clusters of, or pairs of 2. So I have a pair of 2's here, and I have a spare 3 and a spare 2 here. So rewriting this 24, or this root 24, I get 2 squared times 3 times 2, all over 8. Okay? Using the product rule for radical expressions, I can then take this square root and distribute it to each of these guys. So I have a square root of 2 squared, a square root of 3, and a square root of 2. But since the 3 and the 2 do not break down any further, I think I'll just leave it as a radical of 3 times 2. So this is what I get. Square root of 2 squared times square root of 3 times 2. Okay? Again, as I mentioned before, this does not break down any further because 2 and 3 are prime, so I'm going to leave that as is. But this guy breaks down. That'll break down into 2. So continuing along this way, I have 2 times root 6. All I did was multiply these two guys to get those 6 here. And this is all over 8. All right, this simplifies a little bit further because I have 2 over 8, and that's just a fourth. So I have square root of 6 over 4, because 2 over 8 is equal to 1 over 4. So at this point, I have root 6 over 4, and this cannot be simplified any further. There are other weird ways of writing it, but this looks as pretty as it's going to get. So at this point, with this example, we are done. And we have another example of this type. Just see it in the next video.